going to start off by removing the wheel, 21mm socket, remove all 6 of your lug nuts. With a 10mm wrench, I'm going to break free this fitting here. I'm using a flare nut wrench. I highly recommend that because a regular wrench will most likely strip this out. And I've been spraying this with rust penetrant for a couple days and thankfully it broke free. A lot of times what happens is the fitting will spin with the line and then it'll want to twist the whole thing and break it off. If that happens, work it back and forth and just try to break the fitting free from the line. Thankfully, mine did. So what I'm going to do next is remove this bracket here so I can move my caliper up. With a 10mm, I'm going to remove the ABS wire off of this bracket. And with a 12mm, I'm going to remove this bracket off the knuckle. Right down in there, there's a clip that holds the ABS wire on. You basically want to pop this out so that you can move this bracket up and out of your way. There we go. So basically what you have to do is push in this top and bottom ear here just to squeeze it and pull it out through. Now that this is free, let's take off the caliper bolts. With a 17mm, I'm going to remove this bolt and this one here. Okay, leave this in just a few threads so it can hold the caliper for when the bottom one comes off. Perfect. Remove the bottom, remove the top, hold your caliper so it doesn't fall. Okay, now take your caliper off and I'm going to put it on top of the upper control arm. On the new caliper, I'm going to take just a little bit of grease and put it right here where the new pads are going to ride, and then on the ears, and then on the outer rings of the pistons. That'll make the brakes operate quietly and smoothly. And do all 4 pistons and then all 4 ears here. Take your new caliper, slide it on. Of course, make sure it's the right side with the bleeder at the top. And then match it up with the bolt holes. Start in your 2 bolts. All right, let's bottom these out and then torque them to 91 foot-pounds. Where is it? Off of the old caliper, I'm going to remove these cotter pins that hold the pins in place. Your new caliper comes with new pins and cotter pins, so these can be thrown away, or you can keep them if you want to. Remove this. Your new caliper should come with one of these. Remove the top pin, and I don't know why I'm holding a million things. As you remove the top pin, if you've already removed the bottom, the pads are going to want to slide out, so hold them. And then you pull your pads straight out. There we go. Set these aside. I'm going to put my caliper back up here. Let's install the pads. Okay, on the new caliper, remove the cotter pins that hold the pins. Take the pins out. And then put in the pads. The inner one has the wear indicator up on top. Slide it down. Slide in the outer one as well. There we go. And now put in the locking pins. Put the top one on first and lock it on with the cotter pin. Okay, and now for the bottom one, You actually want to take this is not, I need this one. Now for the bottom one, you actually want to take this little spring, hook it onto these holes, and then these loops on the bottom is where this pin needs to slide through. And this can get a little bit tricky because you have to hold it in there but also move it around at the same time. There you go. Lock this pin in. And one thing to keep in mind is that these little hooks here actually have to slide over the pad like that, but it still needs to be hooked into the hole, so that's what it has to look like. There we go. Perfect. Now remove your fitting and hold the line. This is going to be the challenging part because it's going to start dripping fluid. Alright, this is out. Remove your old caliper, set it aside. Now from the back you can slide in the line into the new caliper and thread on the fitting. Now you can snug it up. Oops, hold the line so it doesn't spin. And you don't want to strip out the threads, but you do want to make sure it's nice and tight. Perfect. Now take your bracket here and re-secure it back onto the knuckle. Snug it up. And then there's the small bracket for the ABS. Re-secure that one as well. Perfect. And then clip in the wire down on the bottom here. And now let's bleed the new caliper. To bleed the new caliper, you can take off this cover for the bleeder. And then with an 8mm, open up the bleeder screw. And I'm going to start by gravity bleeding, and that means I'm going to let gravity do its thing and pull the fluid down and push the air out. Once we have a steady trickle of fluid, I can close this up and then start a manual brake bleed. And what that entails is, first of all, make sure your master cylinder is full, then have someone in the car pumping the brake pedal. After 2 or 3 pumps, hold pressure on the brake pedal, come out here, crack the bleeder screw, and wait until the brake pedal hits the floor. Close it, pump it again, and then repeat the process until you have no more air coming out of here. Now with a steady trickle of fluid after my gravity bleed, I'm going to close this up and do my manual brake bleed. And after you're done with that, go ahead and put this cap back on, and let's get the wheel on. Go ahead and put on your wheel. Start on all 6 of your lug nuts. Snug them up. Go ahead and torque these to 83 foot-pounds in a cross pattern. All right, you're all set.